Gosh, you act like it's bad or something.
What, that murder's always the answer?
Yeah.
Well, why is murder always the answer?
Why wouldn't it be?
Well, because, a lot of people die.
Oh, that's fine. That's not that bad.
Well, then you and the topic we're going to be talking about on this podcast, haha, I started the podcast on you admitting murder. It's great.
And this is immediately just going to be murder. So today we're doing murder mystery trials.
Yeah.
Actually,
it's not really a mystery. We have the documentation, the notes, the recordings. We know who did the murders. Well, at least ordered the murders.
From my understanding, it is somewhere between 3 to 4 wizards.
All right, welcome back. Welcome to the PUNAtic Punk Rock Podcast here, Potek.
Hey.
So you know when you kill 2 people, right? You get a double kill. And,
yeah.
And then you kill 3 people, you get a triple kill, and then so on.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the person.
Sounds pretty normal.
The person we're talking about today has had probably the longest killing streak in American history. It might be a history. I don't know. An 80-year killing spree.
That's a good long period of murder.
With like millions of bodies racked up.
Is this Genghis Khan?
No. This is a name you might have heard of.
You said American.
Yeah. He just died recently, age 100. Man named Henry Kiss-and-jer.
How's a dude like that, get recorded enough to be known for it and still live?
Oh, because, Nixon loved to wiretap everybody, including himself and all his advisors. So he entirely wiretapped himself.
Gotcha. So he was hired.
Yes. Well, he really, really wanted the job. So much so that, he is willing to sabotage peace talks between America and Vietnam to get the job.
Wild. I could... Okay. That's some passion right there.
That is some passion. So, I guess we'll start from the beginning. Henry Kissinger was a Jew born in Germany during the rise of the Nazis. So, not a great start for the guy.
Definitely not.
He escaped to America when he was, I think, in his teens. And his whole life... His whole life he'll say, my childhood experience didn't affect the person I am today. And if that's true, holy shit, you're a psychopath.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're
apparently hired for one, to be one as well.
Yeah. He joined the army to fight the Nazis and was pretty good at it. And this is where I'm starting his killing spree because, killing a Nazi, this is your first kill. That's the start of your killing. If you continue on from that, that's fine. I'm not saying killing Nazi bad.
I know, killing Nazis are a great thing.
That's a great way to start your killing spree. No one will care.
But the fact that we know that it doesn't stop there knows that it's going to continue to get worse.
Yes, from here into 80 years, he'll continue being involved in the deaths of so many people. But in the army, he was recognized as having like a good strategic mind and went into politics, because that's where all good people go.
Yes. That is where all the honest, hardworking citizens go.
Yep. So he was working on behalf of, he was an advisor for Johnson's administration. And Johnson and Kennedy, they began the Vietnam War, but Johnson was really trying to get out of it by this time, saw it as an unwinnable war. But it was also during an election year, and so being able to bring peace would look good on you, and not for your opponent, who is one Richard Nixon. Um, so Kissinger would, and this is all brought to light already. This is not speculation at all. He would like feed information to the Nixon camp, and the Nixon camp would feed information to the South Vietnamese to say, "Hey, you'll get a better deal out of us by staying in the war than agreeing to the peace negotiations." And so, I don't know if you know this, but like interfering with peace negotiations and the foreign policy of your government to win both sides, to secure a job for either side, is treason.
That sounds correct, yeah.
And this is where his body count really starts racking up because, it's literally his interference with this gets Nixon and, like, keeps the war going through the Nixon administration and beyond. The war could have ended here in 1969.
Wow.
So from 1969 to the end of the Vietnam War, which I think is 1976, can be blamed. We're not going to entirely blame it on Nixon, but it can be, and Kissinger. But what he did next is what really cements his legacy as one of the greatest war criminals of all time. But before that, let's play a song.
Okay.
I had a song from Vietnam called Armies of the Night. Memories of the Night by Tay Travas off the album 3 Trey Travas. Some post-punk from Vietnam for you.
I mean, it was definitely awesome. I love the music. So definitely with the topic on hand, it still leaves a really weird taste in my mouth.
I know it's kind of chill. It's really chill, lo-fi, but like the topic is like, okay.
Yeah.
Nixon. Okay, have you heard of the Secret War?
I'm not sure, so I'm gonna say no.
Well, it's secret, so it'd be hard for you to find out.
And I'm not exactly a person that goes like digging deep for things.
Well, it's pretty well known now for a secret, but at the time, it was not known through Congress. The Senate didn't know. In fact, really only the office of the president, the national security advisors, Secretary of State really knew about it.
Okay.
Have you heard of the Ho Chi Minh Trail?
I think you've talked about it.
Maybe. It was a trail during the Vietnam War. The North Vietnamese would like make a supply route along the border and into Cambodia and Laos.
Okay.
So the United States would very regularly would bomb the trail, which would go into Cambodia and Laos. But bombing a supposedly neutral country that has nothing to do with it is not really legal.
Nope, definitely not.
But we would do it. But when Nixon got into power, he ordered a massive bombing campaign, in which Kissinger oversaw, called Operation Menu.
Menu?
Yes, because you would pick and choose which targets you want. They'd have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And Kissinger was able to like pick and choose where these bombs would fall and what kind of targets they were.
And he would look for the biggest cluster he could find.
Oh, I'm not sure about like what things he picked, but it's definitely more civilian targets than anything the North Vietnamese did put up there. So yeah, this began a massive, just ungodly bombing campaign on Cambodia and Laos, which was I think I have a quote here somewhere by Kissinger.
Full quote.
Full quote.
Yikes.
Nixon wants a massive bombing campaign in Cambodia. He doesn't want to hear anything about it. It's an order to be done. Anything that flies or anything that moves.
Well, shit.
When talking about the bombings over just Cambodia, he says, "We want waves and waves of planes, you see. They can't see the B-52s, and they drop 1,000,000 pounds of bombs. I bet you we will have more planes over there in a day than Johnson had in a month. Each plane will carry about 10 times the load of a World War II plane could carry."
That's insane.
Yeah, this massive bombing campaign into Cambodia really bombed the shit out of the countryside. In fact, there's hundreds and hundreds of unexploded ordnance all over Cambodia and Laos because of this. Still makes like them one of the most countries with no arms or legs, just because farming itself. You hit a potato, that explodes.
Yep.
That was all directly Kissinger. That's like his big claim to fame. That's directly Kissinger. He's one who ordered it. He's one who picked out like the targets. He pushed through. He made sure that it was secret that the Congress didn't know about it, that the Senate didn't know about it, that the American people didn't know about it. This is all Kissinger and Nixon, but Kissinger made it done.
He definitely coordinated everything.
Yeah. But it gets worse. But before we get to that, here's a song from Cambodia.
All right.
This is honestly one of my favorite songs. This song is called Cold Radiation by a band called Future Shock.
Another visitor. Stay a while. Stay forever.
Cold Radiation by Future Shock off the album Future Shock, released in 2017 from Cambodia. And that's just a fun song. I love that. That's catchy, fun, great fucking synth punk.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
That was enjoyable all the way through.
Yep.
Unlike what happened in Cambodia thanks to Kiss-and-jer. Oh, did I fail to mention that Kiss-and-jer won a Nobel Peace Prize?
What? I think you did forget that part.
Yeah, for, supposedly ending the Vietnam War.
With bombs.
Yeah. When it was pretty
it's a very
sure...
American way to do it.
Yeah. In fact, yeah, we bombed Hanoi. It was just so... yeah, with bombs. Yeah, him...
Clearly, violence is the answer.
Kissinger and a Vietnamese general were both awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for ending the war, but the general didn't show up because he's saying, well, the war's not over, and this is a sham, and how could this guy be getting a fucking Nobel Peace Prize?
I wonder how that works.
Yeah.
God.
So...
The world we live in, huh?
Yeah. So the Americans are leaving Vietnam and getting out, and somehow, things can't get worse. But
that's never a good way to start something.
But there's now a huge power vacuum in Cambodia, because half the country's been bombed to shit with more bombs dropped on it than we dropped on Germany in World War II.
Mm-hmm.
And all its infrastructure stuff. And we tried to fucking coup Cambodia's government, which only brought the king in to back a certain kind of regime called the Khmer Rouge. Have you heard of these guys?
I have not.
Does the name Pol Pot ring a bell?
Yes.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the rise of Pol Pot and how it's Kissinger's fault.
Gotcha.
Because, yeah, the state tried to do a coup in Cambodia that failed, that only brought the king closer to the only people who were, like, Cambodia, anti-Western things who were bombing the shit out of us and trying to do coups. Gave them legitimacy in the government, which, because of the huge power vacuum, the Khmer Rouge came to power. And, well, it's a terrible time to come to power for any regime, honestly. Because all the countryside has been mostly wiped the fuck out and bombed. There's no food coming in. You're a communist regime, so you're probably being sanctioned. You're not getting food from the West. So all their population in the countryside is dead and dying. They only have people in the cities. So they start...
Sounds like Russia now.
So they start a huge campaign to force people out of the cities into the countryside by, force, shooting those who disobey, starving millions. There's altogether, like, I think 3 million people die in the Cambodian genocide because of the Khmer Rouge. All brought by, the conditions that Henry Kissinger personally put into place.
Happily.
Yes. All to get a job. And be famous.
Apparently a Nobel Peace Prize.
And a Nobel Peace Prize, yes. And sleeping with a lot of Hollywood actresses. Did I mention that? He was seen as a sex symbol.
What is the world we live in?
All right, before we move on to the next thing, here's an awesome song. I'm sure you've heard of it. This song is called Holiday in Cambodia.
I definitely have heard this one.
And now you get to listen to it with new ears.
Sweet. I don't know if it's a good thing, but still a great song.
and get rich, but the boss gets richer of you. Well, you'll work harder with a gun in your back for a bowl of rice a day. Some lazy soldiers steal your son and your head is skewered on a stake. And now you can go where people are one. And now you can go where they get things done. What do you need, my son? What do you need, my son? It's a holiday in Cambodia where people dress in black. Need a holiday in Cambodia where your kids have a crack.
Holiday in Cambodia by the Dead Kennedys off the masterpiece album Fresh Fruit for Rotting Vegetables.
You know, I always knew that song had a much darker tone, but now that I listen to it, and you know, it has definitely been more than a few years.
Yeah,
definitely got darker.
And it cuts even harder because, like, you fucking dumb American, you're complaining about, and you think you know shit when your own government has put in, like, it's not even like they're communist, right? The Khmer Rouge, but doesn't mean the U.S. won't work with them. Here's
of course not.
Here's a direct quote from Kiss-and-jer about them. How many people did the Khmer Rouge kill? Tens of thousands? You should tell the Cambodians that we'll be friends with them. They are murderous thugs, but that won't let us stand in the way. We are prepared to improve relations with them. Tell them the latter part. Don't tell them what I said before that. And that's what he said to the Thai foreign minister about Khmer Rouge. And the CIA did support them because they were, in this time, this was after or before. I don't know. They were trying to work relations with China because China and the Soviet Union had some scuffles along the border that killed thousands of people. They almost went to two nuclear communist powers that almost went to war. And so the United States was trying to get in, well, you know, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, right?
Yeah.
And the Khmer Rouge were not Soviet-backed, they were Chinese-backed. And so we would back them as a measure against the Soviet-backed Vietnam. So it was a very strange thing. Actually, Vietnam is the ones who invaded Cambodia and stopped the murderous Pol Pot regime.
Wow.
And you know how they were thanked?
I'm assuming more bombs.
No, China invaded.
Yeah, that's on. Yeah.
So, Vietnam went to war with France, the United States, and China. They had a very, very violent 20th century.
Yeah, I always knew it was a pretty dark time.
But, China didn't get very far in because it's fucking Vietnam, but they got far enough to say, there, we punched you. Get out of our ally, sort of. And stopped the invasion short of actually capturing Pol Pot. And so Pol Pot, like Henry Kissinger, died of old age.
Wow. Wow.
History's
These people.
Fuck, isn't it?
Yeah, these people should not be allowed to live.
Yep. Yep. So, Nixon is widely credited as the man who normalized relations between the U.S. and China, because before Kissinger, we would recognize Taiwan as actual China. Even though the communists had taken over the big part of China, had been ruling it for decades, we were recognizing the remains of the old government that was forced onto Taiwan as actual China for decades before this.
Good old dumb Americans.
Well, it's a political move, and sometimes politics doesn't need to follow logic.
Sometimes.
But because of this, we had no real relation.
Or morals.
That's 100% true. States don't have morals. So yeah, before this, we had no real relationship with Maoist China, and we wanted to make a wedge between them and the Soviet Union. So we wanted to form diplomatic ties, but there's no way. We needed to find a third man to actually connect those two pieces together. And there is two options. There was the communist Romanian leader. I forget his name, but he's guilty of a bunch of war crimes as well. Or the leader of Pakistan. I believe his name was Yahya.
Yahya.
Yeah, Yahya Khan.
Which actually have some powerful meaning.
Probably does. I mean, Khan is a powerful meaning, so Yahya Khan. That's got to be something.
I feel like it would be, but that's still hilarious.
And so he was leader of Pakistan, who had just recently broken away from India in a really bloody fucking conflict. Actually, there was kind of two Pakistans at the moment. There's Pakistan as we know it, and then East Pakistan, which is Bangladesh.
Oh, okay.
And so he was ruling over these two, and he was the go-between for the United States to get in contact with China and establish regular relations. The problem is that the people in Bangladesh didn't want to be part of Pakistan, and so they voted to not be. So Yahya's government sent in the army and was killing people indiscriminately in what is called the Bangladesh genocide. And Kissinger said this about it. He said, the U.S. couldn't directly condemn Pakistan's gross human rights violation in East Pakistan, as it was using Islamabad as an interlocutor between opening diplomatic relations with China. To condemn these violations publicly would destroy the Pakistani channel, which would be needed for months to complete an opening to China.
So this was a very, very long-term plan then.
Yes. And so we couldn't, like, do anything about it. We couldn't condemn it. We couldn't do it because we were using them to open relations with China. And so they basically, what some people call art of genocide on the Bangladeshi people. Killed, holy shit, 300,000 people at least.
At least.
Yeah.
And war only counts the estimated amount. So.
Mm-hmm. And so yeah, the U.S. in relations with China cost 300,000 people's lives. Thank you, Kiss-and-jer. Here's a song. This one's here's a song. It's called from a Chinese band. It's called "Fuck the Schemers" by a band called Demerit from Bastard of the Nation.
Bastard of the Nation.
Bastards of the Nation, yeah. Ooh, yeah. Just makes you feel dirty, doesn't it?
A little bit. A lot of it.
Oh, we're still not... There's 1, 2, 3, 4 more songs to go. And
oh boy.
If I was being thorough, there would be at least 20.
Yeah, that's a whole lot of murder.
Yep.
It makes the three wizards look like good people.
It does. It really does. I'll do a podcast later about the wizards. It'll be a wizards podcast.
A wizards podcast.
Yeah. It'll be a good palate cleanser after this. Anyway, I sent you the song called "Fuck the Schemers."
I got it.
All right. Let's go. 3, 2, 1, and play. That was Fuck the Schemers by Demerit from Beijing off the album Bastards of the Nation.
I mean, I kind of agree with him, you know?
It's hard to disagree.
Yeah.
I mean, if you disagree, you might be Henry Kissinger.
Or a supporter.
Mm-hmm. Which there are a lot of, because, you know, he's seen like as a high statesman, like, in 2016, the debate between Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton was like, "I'm proud to have Henry Kissinger as a friend and an advisor," and Bernie Sanders was like, "Fuck that guy. I'm proud not to be his fucking friend."
Why couldn't we have had Bernie Sanders?
Oh, because everybody thought he is too old and can't do it, so we picked an older guy who's
I was gonna say, so fucking Joe Biden is better?
I know, it's sad. Like, I really don't want to have to vote for Joe Biden again.
I really don't want to either.
But I might have to. It's like...
Say that or another monster's gonna come in.
You know...
And I'm not saying that Joe's a monster, but, like, he's not really the best. He's not great.
Yeah, that's the best we could say. And what he's recently, it's just not great. It's not great.
Yeah, like, the dude is, you can tell the dude's struggling just to maintain his consciousness, sanity.
That's
his old
one
age
thing.
is definitely getting it to him.
It's not his old age I'm really too mad about, because fuck, the opponent's old as fuck too, and yeah, we should have someone younger, but it's his policies that, you know, especially with it, just unrelenting complete support for the bombing of Gaza is really getting to me. But that's not this podcast. This podcast is about Henry Kissinger, another guy who did monstrous things. So,
Politics 101, be a monster.
Yes. So, have you heard of the country of Indonesia?
Once or twice in my lifetime, I would say so.
Did you know that Indonesia is a terrible, terrible place with a terrible government?
I definitely didn't know that.
Well, like, this is before Kissinger's time, but, like, when, you know, wasn't sure whether countries are going to go communist or not. There was a CIA coup in Indonesia that basically let out, like, a massive killing spree of anybody suspected of being a communist. It's called the Indonesian genocide, in which, you know, people just went from door to door, regular people, just vigilante groups went from door to door and killed anybody suspected of being a communist.
Why does this give me, like, Proud Boy vibes?
Because it's exactly what they would do.
Yeah, they would.
They fucking probably see this and think, yes, that's... of course. But that's before Kissinger's time. But it's the government that he really got along with. And so there would be, like, always weapons deals, and because he was seen as an anti-communist bulwark. They did this whole mass killing, stop the communists from taking over. They're going to stop the communists in the, where they are on the Asian mainland. The dominoes are not going to fall because of the CIA coup that killed, I don't know, hundreds of thousands or something.
Man, stupidity is dangerous.
Power is dangerous because there's always someone stupid going to be in charge. Given a long enough time period, every government is ruled by stupid people. At least that's my theory.
Even their advisors are there to just support their stupidity.
Yeah. I don't care if the best laid government ever made by fucking AI, giving enough time, is going to be controlled by a fucking moron.
Completely unrelated, but this very much reminds me of how the Amazon like delivery apps are. Everything is automatically routed, except there's one guy that's routing it even worse.
How does that work? I don't quite understand.
So, literally, one man built the entire Amazon routing system.
Yeah.
It is an automatic routing thing that is designed to keep a worker there for 10 hours.
Oh, fuck.
That's your shift, 10 hours a day. It is designed for that route. But the more that somebody does something different or will, let's say, push themselves even harder, it is designed to add more routes to them. And in the worst way possible. It doesn't just add stops. It will put them in as long as they are near each other, quote unquote. So you think, oh, your delivery service, your van opens on one side, the stops are all going to be on that side, right?
Mm-hmm.
No. You have to do, I don't know how many U-turns that you do, how many times you have to reverse, which, by the way, in both training and manuals say that you're not supposed to be reversing. You're not supposed to be getting out on the left side of the road.
So this is like the AI programming just making your route worse and worse.
Yep.
By like, if you do anything outside of the program, it just like compiles on worse shit, huh?
Yep.
That's terrible.
So it's like you want to do good. You want to get better at your job. But the better that you do at your job, the harder it gets. And not in a good way.
Man, we should really do something about that.
So they have this program that escalates quote unquote problems. And while you can escalate things, that doesn't mean that they're going to do anything about it. Did I ever tell you guys, probably not the time for the podcast, but there was a point where it was just directly out of winter. It went from like 40 degrees to like 85 in less than a week. Like low 40s. All right. And one of the days that I worked, it got to 120 inside the back of my van by the second stop. And it was only supposed to get hotter throughout the day.
Well, fuck.
Mm-hmm.
So what'd you do?
I worked my shift as long as I could.
Fuck.
I mean, it's shitty. I needed money,
Yeah. Well, that's
the only reason why people they get away with shit like that.
Well, that's depressing.
Yeah, I definitely made it a issue. I took a picture, brought in thermometers, which is, by the way, you're not allowed to do.
You're not allowed to gather evidence?
Yeah. Shocker, huh?
Somehow I'm not shocked.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well,
Amazon didn't like that I shown it on Reddit and got 10,000 views.
Fuck. Well, fuck them.
Yep.
And let's get back to something.
A lot worse. Murder.
Yeah.
Genocide.
Yeah. So far, let's see. Kiss-and-jer has his hands in 2 genocides, and a mass bombing campaign which killed millions. He's about to have his hand in another genocide. Have you heard of East Timor?
I have not heard of that.
It's half of an island in Indonesia that was ruled by the Portuguese instead of the Dutch. So they gained their independence after Indonesia, and they're like seen to have a different culture, different. They speak a different language, but Indonesia considered it like, well, part of Indonesia, and because they had such close ties with the United States, because they're seen as a bulwark against communism, they had a lot of U.S. weapons, which were technically, by the letter of the law, only allowed to be used defensively.
Wow.
But they were so polite to ask the Kiss-and-jer and was it Johnson at this time? I think it might have been. Let's see. Kiss-and-jer and Ford took great pains to assure Suharto, who was the leader of Indonesia, that they would not oppose the invasion. Ford was unambiguous. We will understand and will not press you on the issue. We understand the problem and the intentions you have. Kiss-and-jer did indeed stress that the use of U.S.-made arms could create a problem, but then added, it depends on how we construe it. Therefore, it is in self-defense or in a foreign operation. Thus, Kissinger's concern was not about whether U.S. arms would be used offensively, and hence its illegality, but whether the act would actually be interpreted as such. A process he clearly intended to manipulate. And in any case, Kiss-and-jer added, it is important that whatever you do, you succeed quickly. That's
very scary lines.
Yeah. When timing and damage control were very important to the Americans, as Kiss-and-jer told Suharto. We would be able to influence the reaction in America to whatever happens after we return. If you have made plans, we will do our best to keep everyone quiet until the president returns home. So this is 100% green light to invade this half of the island that's doesn't want to be part of Indonesia and has not been part of Indonesia.
Fucked up.
This started a massive war with U.S. weapons that has killed at least 300,000 East Timor people. It's called basically in another genocide. So that's 3 genocides on his hands. 2 more and they get a McFlurry.
Sounds to me like they're handing out the McFlurries.
Here's a song by a band from Hawaii called East Timor. Pretty on the nose. Hardcore punk. Minute and 40 seconds.
3, 2, 1.
Unnoticed and unchallenged by the rest of the world. Companies are continuing to invest in Indonesia regardless of the atrocities committed. East Timor is now considered Indonesia's 27th province.
and that was East Timor by Waj off the big compilation Assembly, Armaments, and Exotic Lore.
That was pretty hardcore.
Yeah, and that is straightforward and educational. So I don't like Indonesia's government much because, well, I told you about 2 genocides, and there's still an ongoing genocide right now that most people don't know about in West Papua. So I know about 3 genocides in modern history for the Indonesian government. I don't like them.
They've given a lot of reason not to like them.
Yeah. And that's what is it? His 3rd direct genocide for Kiss-and-jer. Not good at all. So let's.
And sounds like there's only more.
There's a few more, and there might be more that we don't even know about because it's stipulated he has hundreds of files on him and recordings and stuff because they bugged. Nixon and Kissinger bugged the shit out of the White House, themselves, their staff, their opponents. They were up, that's how we know that Nixon's nickname for Kissinger was, guess his nickname. And I can tell you 100%, whatever you pick, it'll be 100 times worse.
A fucking harbinger of death, genocide man.
Nope. No, he liked him, so he wouldn't say that.
Fucking the savior of United States savior.
No. That's what the media called him.
Well, I now want to know.
I'm not sure you want to know.
I don't want to know, but it's my curiosity is up there.
Jew boy.
Well, wow. Okay, wow. I was not expecting that.
That was Nixon's nickname for Kissinger.
Jew boy.
Because if you do not know, Nixon was hella racist.
I definitely knew that one.
Well, during their term, there was a little election, and there was things going on in Latin America. There was an election in Chile specifically that brought like a semi-socialist guy to power called Allende. How do you think they responded to this? It seems like something they would care about.
Oh, I'm sure very well. I'm sure extremely positively.
Well, here's a direct quote from Kissinger. I don't see why we need to stand by and watch a country go communist due to their irresponsibility of their people. The issues are too important for the Chilean voters to be left to decide for themselves.
Okay, just call them all children.
Yep, and inspire a coup by the but in the military against the Chilean government, and install one of the worst dictators of the 20th century, named Augusto Pinochet.
Well then,
Who would, like in Indonesia, inspired a door-to-door killing spree of anybody suspected of being communists, rounded up, thrown out of helicopters, rounded up inside of stadiums and shot. Just not a good guy. From a certain point of view, I guess. I mean, I think it's the correct point of view, but I guess you could see in a really fucked up, twisted way. No, you gotta be fucked up yourself. I don't know.
yeah, the way to go about that.
I mean, people say, but they're killing communists. And going door to door, killing people who, might have, like, a book by Marx or something, is completely awful.
No, that definitely makes them communist, and they must be exterminated, apparently.
Yep. Not because, you like history and philosophy and want to understand what people are talking about better and you want to be knowledgeable. Having knowledge, people don't like that.
Yeah, that's crazy talk. I wouldn't go around talking about that, not in public.
So here's a band from Chile. One of my favorite bands. It's a band called Durruti. And if you don't know, Durruti is an anarchist. I don't know if you want to call him general or leader. I guess he was kind of a leader in the Spanish Civil War. Who some people say was killed, some people say was assassinated, whatever. But that has nothing to do with this. This is a band from Chile, not Spain. But the song, I'll fuck this up. Sarcástico Sonido, off their album Nuestro Lema. Nuestro Lima. Yeah, I'm cultured, guys.
Hey, you know what? You did your best.
Not great. Alright, let's play this awesome song. You ready?
Yep.
Alright, 3, 2, 1. And that was Durruti with Sarcástico Sonido. I think I got that right. And I love that band.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was
They're fun,
Genuinely fun toned.
energetic, and have a good message, as far as I know. Oh. So yeah, Kissinger had direct involvement with Pinochet and getting him into power by pushing multiple like coups to do it, and you know, bribing generals and shit like that. So he was directly involved in getting Pinochet into power. And then once in power, him, Pinochet, and a number of other Latin American countries leaders got together to form like a kind of a group continent-wide operation to root out communists, not just in their countries, but like an assassination campaign all around the world. And Henry Kissinger gave them the go-ahead and the CIA support and the infrastructure to do this. Was called Operation Condor.
Operation Condor.
Yes. Which is responsible for hundreds and thousands of tens and hundreds of thousands of disappearances, kidnappings, killings, tortures, all around South America, and assassinations in France, and the U.S. capital, Washington, D.C. They helped carry out a car bomb in Washington, D.C. to assassinate a prominent leftist of some sort. I don't really know, in one of their countries.
Well then.
So, but I don't know if you know this, but helping aid an attack on U.S. soil, I believe, is treason against. So that's 2 counts of treason, 3 counts of genocide.
Yeah, he's racking up some numbers there.
Multiple counts of just straight up war crimes, and other counts of like, you know, installing dictators. Yeah. So this would be what's called in Argentina the dirty war. In Brazil, like there's all kinds of disappearances and tortures. This is where you get the people being thrown out of helicopters things. It was a really disgusting time in South America.
Apparently so.
Oh, he was also good friends with Marcos, and the Philippines, who was also basically doing the same kind of stuff, anti-communist stuff, tortures, kidnappings, disappearances.
The works.
The works.
As you do as a psychopath.
Yep. And here's a song called Disappeared from the Philippines by a band called The Last Isabel. This one has a kind of a dark feel to it.
All right.
3, 2, 1, disappear. That was Disappeared by the Last Isabel off the compilation album Know Your Enemy, Volume 2. Oh, and that is fucking creepy.
Yeah, do you know your enemy?
I know a lot of enemies, yeah.
A lot.
I'm not saying there's a list, because
Definitely enough.
Henry Kissinger was on it, but he's dead now, so cross that off the list.
It's a pretty big enemy to cross off.
Oh, and it's not even done. I mean, this is basically what up till now is basically while he was Secretary of State, he was in the presidential administration of Nixon. And did I tell you he survived the Nixon impeachment to still be Secretary of State afterward? This guy is just always in power. And even after that, after he was technically out of office, he was advisor for every president up until Trump, basically.
Holy shit.
He pushed for the war on terror to be wider. He basically also like funded Saddam Hussein during the Iran-Iraq war. And
at this point, it doesn't surprise me.
He pushed for the U.S. invasion of Iraq, because he said we needed to teach them a lesson and go after them everywhere in the world. He was
a psychopath too.
He was an advisor, military advisor in the Obama administration and senior advisors in the Trump administration. In fact,
that doesn't surprise me.
And we don't even know everything he's done, because most of his recordings, he's had such access to all this power. He's able to give. What he did was he gave it to the Library of Congress, saying this could only be released 5 years after my death. So we have something to look forward to.
Say so. I mean, it's a recording, but looking forward to it is a very probably not the word I'm
will we
looking for.
Add more counts of treason and genocide onto the list? Probably more war crimes.
Oh, for sure.
But he's dead. He's dead. 100 years he's dead. It's an 80-year-long killing spree. Like, he didn't even stop when he was out of power. He continued to he would advise big companies how to get into, because he had all this access to all these governments around the world. He got big companies to have all these deals with them, which I'm sure also countless lives lost because of that.
Sure sounds like it.
He pushed for a bigger expansion of NAFTA when Bill Clinton wanted to focus on healthcare.
Man, I'm glad this guy is dead.
Oh, he was credited with bringing peace to the Middle East.
With bombs.
Actually, he was probably the best peacemaker in the Middle East we had, honestly.
That's kind of funny.
It's fucked up.
I had a feeling that it was going to go that way.
He was actually critical of Israel.
Wow.
But yeah, he was actually able to bring some stability too. I don't know where that weighs in the scale.
I would think not high enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta get really high.
I mean, dude's definitely going to hell for sure.
Mm-hmm. There's so many skits now on the internet about Henry Kissinger's finally coming to hell.
He'll be welcomed with open arms, right hand man to the throne.
There's a call from heaven. I said, "Hey, we heard Henry Kissinger died, and we just wanted to, like, have a bunch of people here want to have a whack at him."
Just a few.
Sure, why not?
His personal hell is literally getting kicked in the nuts by every single one person that he died as many times as they want.
So that is the story of Henry Kissinger. And, well, I see you've made your opinions very clear now. You don't like the guy.
What? No, he's great. Just like real class A hero. Philanthropist through and through.
You did begin this saying with murder is good, right?
Yeah, murder is good.
And the bigger the number, the bigger the. I mean, most people can't get his body count in video games, let alone.
No, they don't. I play Apex, and people are always flashing their numbers, and most of the time you see 300,000.
No, they're close to the near, like, between 3 to 4 million people.
Yeah.
And that's just what we know.
I think one of the highest I seen was like 1.2, but that was it.
So, he's dead. He's dead. For 100 years he was allowed to live in comfort, and now he's dead of old age.
Still upset about that.
The world isn't fair.
It's not.
That is the lesson for today. The world
but at least he's dead.
But at least he dies too.
Yep.
All right, last song, and then we're gonna end it.
Alrighty.
This song is called from an Indonesian band, called Marginal, called Catastrophe, which I believe his life caused many catastrophes. And this is just a cool song from the album Kiss-and-jer.
Tidak bisa memerintah kalau tidak mau kompromi.
Sejajar.
Untuk tetap menjadi diri sendiri. Mengangkat saya jadi PKI atau menuduh saya jadi PKI. Silakan. Pram adalah pram. Pram adalah pram.
Go.
Intrik berdengung, bersiul nyaring di bawah meja. Desas-desus berhembus, Dewan Jenderal kudeta.
Hukum rimba merasuki urat nadi, menjadi juri melambang negeri. Adu domba kasta jadi prahara, tanda silang di pintu korban. Sungai berdarah hanyutkan dendam. Tiada asuransi, apalagi puisi, kecuali kata sandi, penentu hidup dan mati. Lewat corong penindasan, kabarkan berita, mereka semua sudah dikuburkan. Tunggu kabar kematian berikutnya. Mereka semua sudah dikuburkan.
Riwayat menggunung sepanjang Oktober 65. Awan hitam membumbung di angkasa, pancaroba sejarah menelan ribuan korban mati sia-sia.
Hari itu hati kita membatu, terbagi dalam kubu-kubu, serta keyakinan yang semu. Langit mendung menurun Nusantara, pembantaian massal terjadi di mana-mana. Pribumi lugu tanpa dosa, diburu dibuang ke pulau buru. Mereka semua sudah dikuburkan, tunggu kabar kematian berikutnya. Mereka semua sudah dikuburkan, tunggu kabar kematian berikutnya.
Cap itu dilekatkan pada kami, menghitung hari terkurung sangkar besi, dikelilingi kawat berduri. Dari kesunyian yang panjang terentang, dikucilkan tanpa pengadilan. Suara dibungkam, kesaksian diperang dalam pikiran.
Aku sekarang terkurung di sini. Semoga saat fajar mendatang, nurani mereka tak terkebiri lagi. Prasara sejarah takkan terulang, dan cukuplah sekali, cukup sekali.
Mereka semua sudah dikuburkan, tunggu kabar kematian berikutnya. Mereka semua sudah dikuburkan, tunggu kabar kematian. Berikutnya.
And that was Catastrophe by Marginal off the album Kiss-and-jer. Yeah. And fucking violin and saxophone in that.
I don't know what they said, but it definitely was intense.
I don't know what they said either, but title fits, and it sounded cool and interesting. And they're from a place devastated by Kiss-and-jer.
Yep.
So I figured it was good enough fit.
I would say it definitely fits the theme.
Hopefully this recording works. I've been technical difficulties for a week, and thanks for sticking around as I deal with this shit.
No problem.
Right now I'm kind of just phone fucking with wires. It's
Hey, if it works, it works.
It's probably gonna sound awful.
Let's hope you can get a good recording out of it, and if not, yeah, it was still a great podcast. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and stay for the music. The music won't sound like shit.
Kiss-and-jer is a shit though.
Yes.
Fuck that guy.
You could go spit on his grave. Maybe that might be some sort of revenge. Probably not. He's dead.
It definitely wouldn't make up justice for it, that's for sure.
That is for sure. Anyway, thanks for sticking around. Mahalo nui loa.
Mahalo nui loa.
Good night. And
good night. See you next time.